Singapore will deport several Myanmar nationals over their links with a terrorist group in their country. The Home Affairs Ministry says they had lobbied, support and raised funds in Singapore for the Arakan Army, or AA, which has been involved in violent attacks in Myanmar.
Now, one of those investigated had a direct relationship with a key AA leader. MHA says that it takes a serious view of such activities and will deal with the perpetrators firmly. Our correspondent, Leong Wai-kit, joins us from Yangon. Wai-kit, good evening. Do you have more details on what exactly the Myanmar citizens did?
Well, Dawn, the statement from the Home Affairs Ministry in Singapore says that the several Myanmar locals had supported armed violence and gathered money and contributed to the Arakan Army. One of them had even made regular donations to the Arakan Army, and one of them has been found to have a direct relationship with the top leader in Arakan Army. Now, what the Home Affairs, Singapore's Home Affairs Ministry did not say is the number of people who were arrested, although for the entire day online, there have already been reports that there were 6 Arakans who were arrested in Singapore. They even, some media reports even went as far as to name who they are, and they also identified one of them as the brother of a top Arakan Army leader. Having said that, the reason the Home Affairs Ministry did not list the number could tell me only one thing, that the number 6 may not be accurate as of now, so it could be fewer than 6 or more than 6. Now, at this point, I'll need to give some context as to what the Arakan Army is. Now, the Arakan Army right now is having conflict with the Myanmar military in Rakhine and some parts of Chin State, and the Arakan Army can be viewed as an armed group that could have a chance to participate in the peace talks with the Myanmar government. However, recently the Myanmar government took a tougher stance against Arakan Army. They called the Arakan Army a terrorist group, and they've also charged leaders with anti-terrorism laws. Having said that, the Arakan Army is very different from the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, or ARSA. Now, ARSA has been branded by the Myanmar government as a terrorist, and they've also been blamed for attacking parts of Rakhine in 2017 to have sparked the current Rohingya crisis.
Wai-kit, you know that online chatter you're referring to, there's also been media reports and talk that suggesting that Myanmar suggesting that Singapore acted on Myanmar's request. Is that true? Do we know? Can we have any confirmation on that?
Well, Glenda, I've also been reading this talk that's been going online. I understand from some of my sources in Singapore that Myanmar did not make that request to the Singapore authorities to make those arrests. I have been trying to get in touch with some of the officials in Myanmar for the entire day. I've been trying to reach out to the spokesperson from the government and also to several ministries, but we were unable to get through to them. Based on my sources in Singapore, Myanmar has not requested Singapore to make those arrests. But at this time, I'll need to point out to you that recently in Malaysia, they've also arrested 2 Myanmar nationals, Rohingyas, and they have been arrested because Malaysia says that they found to have been links with ARSA, the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, which I talked about earlier. And I also understand that Singapore's arrest was made independently. There was no coordination with any other countries in the region. Now, what this tells us is that regions in Singapore, regions countries in the region are on very high alert to look out for potential activities that could be harmful to their countries. And one more thing that I need to say is that this is not the first time that Singapore is dealing with workers from other nationalities who support terror groups or support groups that promote violence. If you recall, there have been groups that have been sent away from Singapore, but Bangladesh nationals, for instance, and Indonesians, for example.
All right, thanks for that update there. Leong Wai-kit speaking to us live from Yangon. Once again, Singapore will deport several Myanmar nationals over their links with a terrorist group in their country.